Tell us about Taylor Ceramics. When did it start?
Taylor Ceramics was one of the first collections designed by Victoria and Richard Mackenzie Childs, and it was really how the company got started. And the story goes that Richard had created this proprietary clay formula, and I heard this, that he was carrying a soup tureen in a basket and riding a bike down a lane, and he tumbled, and the tureen fell out, and it didn't break. And he knew, okay, there's something different about this clay body. And it really is dense and it really is durable. So the beautiful thing about their relationship was their synergy. He designed this thing that could function perfectly, and she created the most incredible surface decorations. So she took some dinner plates into her studio behind her house one day and just started painting patterns. And that was the evolution of Taylor. And then the story goes that she took these patterns in a basket. I could see her like Little Red Riding Hood on Fifth Avenue, skipping up the street with her basket of beautiful plates, wandering into shops, and people were saying, where can I get those beautiful things? Where are these from? And that really was the origin of this work. Taylor is a family name on Victoria Mackenzie's side of the family. Also, her first cousin is named Taylor. And each and every single pattern in this collection is named after a favorite place or a family friend or something dear and personal. And it started with a handful of patterns, and then we've since added to it. We added King's Corners, and we added Fran. Let's see, this is Fran. Fran is named after a very, very dear friend of ours who worked in our pottery for years. And she grew up on a dairy farm, and she had these gorgeous rosy cheeks, and we felt like this was really just perfectly Fran summed up, just happy countryside. That's Fran.
There are so many different design groups,
so many.
though, right? So
yeah, there are, and they all go together so beautifully.
So really, back in the day, don't you feel like it was really the first time a brand actually made something to mix and match?
That's such a good point. Clearly that's true. When you set a table with Mackenzie Childs, there's no right or wrong way to set the table. You grab your favorite patterns and you set them all together. The idea was that they all work playfully together, whether it's Kuchenhof or Alsmere or Bearded Iris. King's Corners is one of the newest patterns, which I love, and Forest Home, named after the area where I live. They're all meant to be loved and used together. And the other thing about Taylor that's so great, if you pick up a piece, you can feel the hands of all the artisans in the work. It is so completely made by hand. Our proprietary clay formula is then bisque fired. It's then dipped in a glaze and fired again, and no two will ever be alike. The density and color might be determined by how much paint's on the end of the painter's brush. It's all just, they're each unique. Every one of them is different. That's what's so beautiful about the work.
Now, if we have a customer or a consumer that wants, either a design or a plate that they have that maybe they've broken or they need more of something,
right.
we make these things for them, ongoing, right?
We do. And in fact, we've had this major renaissance of Taylor. It's really exciting right now. And that's this explosion of all these serving pieces that are happening here. We've got sugar casters and chowder bowls and vases and serving bowls, salt and peppers, pitchers in every shape and size. They're incredible. And on the underside of every piece, take this egg cup, for example. Isn't that fabulous? Can you think of a million uses for the egg cup? Crudité, shrimp cocktail, sorbet, rings. I love this particular piece. But if you look at the underside, and I'll remove this little sticker here, ta-da, each piece is stamped. And the stamps are basically each artisan that had a hand in the work. I can tell you, who cleaned the piece, who decorated the piece by the stamp on the underside of the ware. And also, we love the evidence of the red clay. That's actually, there are two reasons for that. The first reason you see it, the first reason it isn't glazed here, is that by keeping this foot terracotta, it's dipped in a wax bath, and then when it's fired, the wax melts away. It prevents the piece from sticking to the kiln furniture. That's the first reason. The second reason is we're so proud of the fact that it is red clay mined from various parts of the United States, and we love that about it. So that's Taylor, and it's meant to be used and loved. This is really extraordinary work. I mean, I think of every person in the pottery that works on this, and that's what makes it so special to me, and I think to our collectors as well.
So this spring, we have a little bit of a promotion that we're doing with most of these tailor pieces. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, for example, we haven't had the serving pieces in the line for a while. We retired them, and we do that from time to time. We'll retire it and bring it back out. So these legacy pieces, they're all coming back out, and it's the full range of serving pieces, candlesticks, bowls, platters, everything. And we're giving the customer an opportunity to buy those without what we refer to as a 30% upcharge. So typically, if you buy something that's retired, because it's a one-of-a-kind thing moving across the production floor, it takes us so much longer to make it. We're waiving that for this opportunity and making it available to customers. So we think it's kind of a fun thing for spring.